Hello everybody and welcome to the first ever Kai Cooks video. Thank you so much for being here, I appreciate you. And today we'll be making seitan for the first time ever, so yeah, let's get into it. First things first is you're going to want some Vital Wheat Gluten, and I used about 1 cup of this. Next, you're going to need some nutritional yeast. Again, it was about 4 tablespoons, but that was a guesstimate. I don't really measure it when I use it. It's so good. Then you want some vegetable broth. I had about 6 cups of water and then 2 tablespoons of bouillon. Also forgot to say jug away. Then you want your spices. I had ginger, Chinese 5-spice, garlic, mixed herbs, and about a teaspoon of each one of those. Oh, and salt and pepper too, of course. Soy sauce, again, don't really measure it. You can have so much, it's so good. First things first is you're going to want to put your Vital Wheat Gluten into a bowl along with your nutritional yeast. I had a bit too much, so I was like, do I put more in? And then I was like, yeah, a little bit. And also your spices too. You're just going to want to mix these all together just to make sure that they're all combined and, you know, working together. Trying to get us some tasty food. Then you're going to want to add in your soy sauce. For anyone that does like to have measurements, I used about 1.5 tablespoons. I probably could have used a bit more though. And then you want to use about 3/4 of your vegetable broth here. Don't use it all and just add it in slowly. This is just going to help bind everything together and yeah, get your seitan together. Eventually you are just going to want to use your hands. I ended up adding in more Vital Wheat Gluten just because I added a bit too much broth. And then I went too far the other way and it got too dry, so then I had to add in some more vegetable broth. So yeah, it's just about getting, you know, trial and error until you get it right. Then you want to knead it for about 10 to 15 times, and then you want to let it sit for 5 minutes or so, and then knead again for 10 to 15 times. As you can see here, it's like really spongy, it's really weird. It's like, it reminds me of like gum. You know when you've been chewing gum for ages? That's what it feels like. It's really strange. But yeah, you want to kind of get that stringy texture. That's what you're after. Oh, I also ended up making 2 batches just because, you know, seitan's good. And you can freeze it as well, so I wanted more. Then you want to kind of cut your seitan into whatever kind of pieces you want. I got really confused because I was like, do I pull it? Do I cut it? But yeah, eventually I got the hang of it and I could just kind of cut and tear it into pieces. Also, seitan does expand, so you don't want to cut them too big if you're just looking for those like little chicken or beef style pieces. You want to kind of cut them a bit smaller than usual. Because they do expand in the water. Look at that stringiness, that was cool. Exactly like bubblegum. I was just showing my mum how good it smells. It smells like Chinese. And then yes, I did end up doing 2 burgers on request of my stepdad, who does eat meat, but he wanted to try a seitan burger again, so yeah. Then you want to add in the rest of your vegetable broth into a big pot. I also added in more soy sauce and the rest of the nutritional yeast, or half of what was left of the nutritional yeast. I didn't want to overdo it. Then you just want to add all of your seitan pieces in. So So yeah, you are just going to want to put the seitan to boil for approximately an hour. So once all your seitan pieces are added in, you're going to want to just make sure that your seitan to water ratio is good. As I say, they do expand throughout the cooking process, so yeah, you just want to make sure that's all good. Also cover it with a lid. I didn't have a lid, so I had to use a cake tin. Then you want to put it onto a very low heat, so you want to have it low simmering. Is that the word? Did I say that right? So this was the seitan when I checked it after about 20 minutes. Didn't look any different. It looked kind of grey actually. I was getting a bit worried. I was so scared that they were going to go soggy, because I read that if you get them too hot, then they're going to go soggy. That's why I left a little gap. And this was the seitan after an hour of cooking. I was so proud of myself. Look at my babies, they've grown. Look how they've grown. So yeah, once you get your seitan all boiled and nice and smelling good, looking good, you're gonna want to take them out and let them cool down. They were very hot. So yeah, you just want to make sure that they get all nice and dry and cool. So you want to get as much of that water and that stock off them as possible. So yeah, I do have to say they don't look extremely appetizing right here. They kind of look like little brains. But this is obviously the point where you would freeze them. I decided to fry them straight away because I was hungry and excited. So I just put a tablespoon of coconut oil into a pan, and I just fried them on a very shallow fry for about 5 minutes. Look how crispy they're getting. Oh, that looks so good. This was them after about 5 or 6 minutes of just shallow frying. And yeah, so I did add some celery salt and some paprika to the seitan now, because celery salt is just, celery salt could fix my life if possible. So good. And yeah, just turning them periodically just to make sure you get all the crispiness all even and good. You want to get all those juices locked. And yes, that was me making seitan for the first time. I'm really proud of myself. It doesn't look too appetizing here, I have to admit, but I made it, I did it, so it's all good. It's all good. But thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.